Broken gonna be the first one up over for the team one. On the team, we got us as Ava here, we got us as Silu, we got us as DGK and Void Terror. Broken starting off as a Frosty Mage versus Demonic is gonna play more of that Outlaw. I love that set, by the way. That gotta be one of my favorite set of Rogue. Is that one from Antorus. It looks so good. I like everything. Some people didn't like the hat back in the day. I thought the hat was a nice touch, even though it's not an item that I always ran. It's going to be big pistol shots with the kills, but try to go for a bit of a cleave. Maybe run away from the big stun. Broken may just have to go for Ice Block. Demonic looks like was able to avoid that entire full go. Just walked away from it. I think maybe even you sprint in order to make sure that the stun does not get stacked up on him. Is going to be a cone of cold to try to get the rogue out. Demonic with a shadow step, trying to see if he can get some damage. Just broken. Try to go for a stun, but the ice form actually prevents him from being stunnable. Quick rush by Demonic, able to close the gap very, very quickly. Nova is going to stop him in place, but a grapple hook going to let him close that gap very, very quickly. Broken maybe in a bit of trouble, and it's going to be done for the count as Demonic just goes in for the slicing and a bit of that dicing. Trying to see if he can get away from Avier. Avier got himself Shield of Vengeance together with the Eye for an Eye, so it's every defense available. Demonic just trying to see if he can avoid it. Taking a couple of judgments back to back, not much you can really do about it, but has to play in a bit of defensively until he can get himself a proper reset where he can go with a bit of an ambush. If he can get himself more ambushes, that's how he wins a lot of games. Double ambushes is where it's at. If you get more double ambush procs into pistol shots, that's actually a really good setup. Blind by Avier, trying to see if he can play versus Demonic. Looks like he was able to break that blind somehow. Cloak shot is for the rogue, able to get some damage to Avier, not for some bubble. And Avier trying to see if he can stop the scoundrel from getting himself a bit of a reset. The Paladin versus the Outlaw, the two antithetical. One is the fighter of justice, and the other is just a straight-up criminal outlaw brigadier. Gonna be out here trying to see if he can back away. Does end up tricking out of the stun. Demonic just trying to see if he can stay in there. Does he have evasion at this point? He may have evasion. If he has an evasion, he could potentially make a play here. Just stay on top of the Paladin and not let him go anywhere. Shield of Vengeance up, together with Eye for an Eye. Does get wings. Maybe big damage. Big reversal. Demoniac does not have a cheat death. Blind with a vanish. Barely any health, but does end up getting himself a quick escape. Let's go for a sap. He's definitely gonna have to use everything he can to live this. Next stun, next go, next just big crit combo. Could be over. Kineshan Javier had the combo points ready from ahead of time. He just goes in for a huge ambush pistol shot setup. Well done, well done. Holding on to those combo points was probably the play. Void Terror playing Affliction this time. Trying to go for that vile taint versus Demoniac. The rogue is out there just consuming, just having a bit of a snack. Kidney shot onto Voidshare. Does get a Blade Flurry rolling in. I wonder if he's playing like a Mastery Blade Flurry thing in the setup, like more sustained damage. Gonna be full dots up of Void Terror. Trying to see if he can go for your way. There's gonna be a wall the right. Demonic could maybe go for a gouge onto the wall. Does he have a cloak? He doesn't. Goes in for a feint instead to reduce some of the damage he's taking. Does not have advantage for a bit. Trying to see if he can just get away from Void Terror. He's actually gonna be under a ton of pressure for a little bit here, unless he uses something. He could just go down. That is a lot of dots. Cloak shot is up in 5 seconds. Dark Blade is going to do damage to you. Could potentially just be over. Cloak very, very soon. Oh my god, the cloak was up in like a second. Oh, not even a full second, like a half a second. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so trash. Oh, come on. That is so BM. That is so BM Void. That was so close, man. If that cloak was back up in here earlier, like it would have been over. My god. Gonna be big damage out of Chicago. Looks to try to see if he can avenge the rogue friend with a last to fall into Voidshare as the do create a shield of Dark Pact trinkets. Very bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Does try to go in for a big old soul setup, soul rod onto Chicago. Does able to put up a couple of dots, and Chicago's already backing up and trying to play it super defensively. Full shield up. Void Terror looking for yet another UA. More look on Chicago. That's where you want to do the most amount of damage. Malefic Capture is getting used up. It's going to get knocked back out in the open with the Sunder to interrupt him. As long as Chicago interrupts the right ability, they'll be in a good spot. Full dots are open to Chicago though. Could be in a bad spot. Could potentially even be dead. Try to go for as much self-healing as possible. Drain Life is up for Void Terror. Chicago does go in for a bit of a healing of their own. Void Terror maybe in a bit of trouble. Maintain mobility. Got full dots on Chicago. Just needs to sit there and let the dots do work. Chicago is able to at least remove one of the curses, the Agony. But outside of that, can't really move much. Though it looks like their healing was able to outlive the damage of Void. Void just couldn't get away from... What? Okay, dude. Alrighty. What the? Even Chicago joins that in. Gonna be Silu up next as a Demon Hunter charging out towards Chicago is gonna get knocked back immediately. Does Chicago still have some dots with corruption and all that stuff burning him down yet? It's going to be a hunt avoided entirely by Chicago, diving in behind the pillar. And Silo try to go in for a full setup. If only you could drop down the hunt while they're midway, is going to be able to use the hunt to close the gap. If you could interrupt the hunt in any way possible, as any class whatsoever, you're in such a good spot, man. If you could just prevent it, it's so good. Lots of big damn, definitely lots of big damn. Gonna be Silo trying to see if he can fight through Chicago. Chicago does have ghost souls that can summon up, trying to see if he can just fight through the demon that is chasing after them. Knocking it back, still trying to play defensively. At least the Raptors are there, has the Maelstrom in order to heal, but do they have enough health to work with? May just go down here, get himself the Earth Elemental. Do they go counter offensive? Oh! No way you live that! No way you just live that! It went so counter aggressive. Why? Oh my goodness. I felt like you just heal, you just play defensively until you can maybe turn around, but maybe you felt like dampening at 30% was already getting a little high. Maybe you felt like, you know what, I gotta take a page out of Flavor of the Month's book, go aggressive. When push comes to shove, you go aggressive and try to score a kill if you can. Chicago get hit with a stun as DGK trying to see if he can load him up full of damage. Not playing the Unholy Death Knight this time. It's Frost. So every one of these abilities is trying to see if he can just chain them back to back. Quick root totem to separate the two, and Chicago does give himself a bit of a breather. We are 8 minutes into the duel. We have quite a bit of dampening rolled up. 41%. Not going to give you a lot of healing to work with. You basically got like an enhanced mortal strike effect in the entire fight. And both of these classes can't even mess each other either. They can't even apply any more healing reduction. And Chicago, man, cooldown wise, they do have ghost souls coming back up, maybe a wall, but I feel like they may be a little bit behind DGK, who is going to go for that stun into a grip off of that knockback. Yet another knock, as Chicago's still trying to buy himself a little bit more space away from the death that as they're trying to see if he can ramp up their Mortis Winter. Got himself a snowball. Snowball could potentially bounce between the Raptors, but it looks like Chicago was able to get away from them for a bit here. GGK taking a bit of damage, but not enough to like start healing through it. But maybe it could just go in for full damage back reversal. Chicago does have a wall to hopefully survive through a little bit of the burst of GGK. Try to go in for a Warlock Hellstone too to maybe give himself a little bit of survivability going forward. But it looks like Chicago just going to be able to blast him through. Yep. Just blasted it. I like your Mog, by the way. It looks good. Chicago actually picking up 3 kills. Wait, you actually did end up healing more than damage. Yo, this Shaman right now, a lot more aggressive than I remember. That was just such an aggressive play versus the Demon Hunter. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised you lived it. Just because I'm so used to Shaman just playing super defensive and just playing into that healing. The fact that you decided to turn around and it paid off is fantastic to see. Let's get us as another one going, boys.